to do there. A swift carrier to do there. A digital carrier looks like this. They call it a haystack, is what they call it, but it's a continuous carrier, and you can't really put a carrier every megahertz and sweep it through and go through there because you'll cause errors, cause pre-errors. So I used to see that. I don't know if you guys have it or not. I used to see it all the time. But at any rate, I wouldn't leave with any pre-errors. All right. What's next? Let's talk about MOS for just a second. Yeah. MOS stands for Mean Opinion Score. Okay? And MOS is the measure of quality of voice. So when you guys install a EMTA, you now have in your new meters you're going to be getting a figure of merit or a number that'll tell you whether the VoIP is good or not, the voice quality is good. And it's called MOS. MOS stands for Mean Opinion Score. And the way it was developed was back in when I was a kid, they used to have these commercials all the time, and I remember MCI had them and said, we're so good you can hear a pin drop. And they used to drop a pin, I remember the little telephone thing there, and it would wiggle waggle and you could hear it. The reason they came out with that commercial is because there was 2 or 3 big agencies they were professional listeners, and they're well known in the telecom industry, everybody used them. And what they would do is they would have a group of people that would get on your phone line and they would listen to your phone calls, and they would rate how good your phone call was from 0 to 5. And then they would average those people's opinions and come up with an average score, which is where the word mean comes from, right? Mean means average, right? Mean, median, and mode, remember that? So mean means average. Opinion, because it was just people listening with their own ears. Sure, they were professional, but it was their opinion. And score, they give it a score. So mean opinion score. Well, now we do that with a computer. And we set a server up, and your meters do it through an algorithm. They send traffic via G.711 codecs to the server, and they measure latency, jitter, those things, and they come back and give you what's called a MOS score. And you'll have that on your meter. And a MOS score is between 0 and 5, and 5 is perfect. I think here in the system they want to see you be between 4 and 5. That's where you got to be. Between 4 and 5. There's also another score on your meter called R factor. And it is just another way of doing MOS. And instead of 0 to 5, it is 0 to 100. And I don't know that you have a number you have to compare to on that. I think it might be 90 and above. Yeah, I would just use the same reference. So actually it'd be 80 and above, right? Because 4 out of 5, if 4 to 5 is good, that's equivalent to 80 to 100. Correct? Because 4 is 80% of 5. Okay, so I just came up with that on my own. But I bet that's right. I don't know that that's right. I just know that they make that 4 to 5 is acceptable for you guys. Okay? Alright. Let me see here. We're almost ready to turn on the meters, I think.
Now I've got a question.
Sure.
Oh, here's a question.
Let's get questions.
We have this house check that
Whole home check. Yep.
So when it says uncorrect quant, what is it?
What's that now?
They said one of the readings on digital box is quant uncorrect.
Uncorrected?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's post and pre.
Okay. Same thing.
Okay.
So what if it says like 3,000?
3,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything to me. I have to know out of how many. 3,000 out of what? 10 billion?
Doesn't tell us either. It said 3,000 on there. It said fail. So, all right.
I mean, you'd have to know out of how many. But uncorrectable errors are the same thing as post errors. They're errors that it couldn't fix. It applied its rules, its FEC, forward error correction, applied its rules. It tried to fix them and it couldn't. and they are now still errors. They're post errors. They're uncorrectable. Right? Forward error correction will correct any errors that are, if they're correctable, then FEC corrected them. So if it says uncorrectable errors, that's post FEC, and you don't want any of those. And you can't leave there if you got them. Now you at least have a tool in your hand. I don't really know what it means. I don't know what it means in your box. I don't know whether that's a pass or a fail. Depends on how much time and how many data bits they sent. You know, if you sent me 10 trillion bits and 3,000 of them were bad, that's 0.03%. I'm cool with that, right? But it depends on how many bits you sent me.
It brings up our MOS on here too.
Okay, cool. Brings up MOS. Excellent.
Does that or do they degrade over like the length of the cable? If you plug it into tap and it says 2, you should, if everything's right, it should still say 2.
MOS score?
All that, the bit error rate, all that stuff. Unless you have something wrong, it's like signal levels.
Length of cable is irrelevant
for those scores.
The only thing length of cable affects is signal level.
Right.
Attenuation.
Right.
So signals attenuate over length. That's the only thing. Now, I will tell you, if you get less than -9 or -10, DOCSIS spec for a digital channel is -15 to +15 dBmV. But anything less than -9 or -10, you're probably going to see some errors. They're going to be corrected, but you're going to see errors.
I've got to work on -18.
Yeah, you'll have it work. It'll work just barely, like right, like a
I just
car.
need to work for the next 7 days.
Why? Then they clear it out. It's not your
That's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
You
That's
don't
your
make trouble call.
Yeah, your baby after that.
If you ever get the used cars, remind me not to buy from you. But yeah, that's yeah. I mean, that's true, you know. I mean, sometimes you get stuck. To bring you out of the fire on that last comment, sometimes you get stuck, right? Sometimes you get a long driveway, you know, it's 300 feet back to the house, and you just do not have the signal level, right? You just can't get the level there. Man, I don't know if they let you use drop amps here. Some places don't. They do or don't?
We do.
Okay.
Well,
House amp.
Okay.
House amp. House amp. Drop amp. The drop, this thing goes to the house. Drop amp. Yeah. An amp for the drop. Yeah. Yeah. Those are big help, but a lot of times drop amps don't amplify signal both ways. I don't know if your guys do or not. They make some that do. So then you're stuck with then you're stuck on how do I get my reverse to go? I have to home run my modem on my reverse, right? You have to home run it anyway here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you have a single port amp, that's awesome.
Okay. All right, you want to take a 5-minute break? Whoever smokes, go smoke. Get a drink, use the bathroom. Back